via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Tantra says sex is deepest bondage. Sex is deepest bondage. What has to be done for that? This life has been given to you as a gift. It is an opportunity to live every moment totally consciously, so that the seed begins to blossom and flowers ripen to become the fruits. If this happens in this life, then next life you will not be stumbling in dark. You can continue your journey of evolution without a master even. Master is needed because you are unconscious. You do not understand why this opportunity is given to you. Once that happens, then you don't need a master. There has been examples when masters are not needed. That does not mean that really master is not needed. You are driving around the road. You are going to an unknown destination. So you use Google Map or Waze or any other method to direct you. However, when you reach within the close proximity of your destination, you switch off these devices. These devices are like master guiding you in the moments of your uncertainty. If you are certain of the destination, as happens when you are going from home to work or work to home, you do not need that because you are familiar with that route. However, if there is a traffic, then you have to use, or a situation of difficulty when you cannot move properly, then you turn on those devices to find you the alternate routes. So master is that guide which helps you in such moments of uncertainty. If you have, the plant is blossomed, the seed has blossomed, the flowers starts appearing, the season of spring has come, then fruits are not far away. And each time a flower becomes a fruit, it gives birth to millions of seeds and millions of flowers. Each seed is capable of giving many flowers. So the process continues. But one thing happens, the truth that Master has discovered, it cannot be said straight in the words, in the language that is easily understandable by the intellect, by the mind. So everyone complains, why you don't answer directly? The truth cannot be answered directly in any way. It happened, there was a Christian writer, Stanley Jones. He is very well known. He has written many books and he has a great name in his community, the Christian community. He came to Raman and he went on asking many questions, but he was not ready for the answers from Raman. This exactly the same thing is, if Stanley Jones was listening to the talks on Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, he will say why Shiva does not answer directly. Probably he does not know. That was the conclusion that he may give. Devi asked many questions. What is this wonderful universe? What is thy reality? So on and so forth. And in response to each question, Shiva gives a device. Do this and you will know. This is what happens there. There is a mathematical problem. You give a direct answer, or you give the principle knowing which everything becomes known. That is the secret of learning. Teach me that, knowing which everything becomes known. I do not want the answer for this, that and everything. Then I will always be depending on the answers. Teach me the method, how you discover the answers, how you have discovered this, how you have found this answer. So Stanley Jones asked Raman, have you attained, have you gotten? So Raman in his own way said, what to gain, what to attain, where to reach? There is nowhere to reach. There is nothing to gain, nothing to attain. So Stanley said, why you don't answer the question directly? I have found Jesus, I got him. Is it not straight? Raman went on, but Stanley could not understand Raman. In order to understand a master, you need a different level of understanding, which is beyond in your intelligence, your intellect. Intellect means conditioned information, the stuffed information. You know this has to be done in this way or that way, but the truth cannot be answered directly. No one has, so no one can answer the truth direct. The response to the truth is based on your level of consciousness. If you are unconscious, even if the answer is given, you will not understand. And if you are conscious, that answer is not needed. A simple hint is more than enough. This is what Shiva did. Devi was totally conscious, available to the moment. Shiva says, do this and you will get it. People come and they want to write down the recipes, and still they cannot produce the right amount, the right quality of the dish. Because when you, and then they keep the recipe in front, keep on reading and doing. So in that you cannot cannot follow it and do the same activity, do the actions same time. It is like this. I ask you to make a sentence and do the action. You can raise your hand and say, I am raising my hand. Can you say, I am speaking? This is an action. I am speaking, and say it. Or I am opening the mouth and say it. What the action you are going to do. So in that many things misses. When I was growing, we had to memorize the recipes, the ingredients, the methodology, how it is to be made. Ayurveda emphasizes the use of ghee as the only ghee which is hydrogenated naturally, because when it gets cold it gets little bit solidified. Or coconut oil. Ayurveda emphasizes on ghee purely, because this is the last stage of the milk. After that nothing can happen. The milk has reached the fruit state. After that it is to be consumed. The fruit is ripe and it is to be consumed. So we have to memorize these things. The answers have to be memorized. I remember during the Muslim period when there were atrocities, so a disciple asked the master, what can I give you? So how can I serve you? The master said, the only thing you can do, remember all I am telling you or the scriptures, memorize it and help someone to memorize it. Oral transmission. This is why Sufi calls it is nisbate kalb, not nisbate mind. It is heart to heart communion. Heart to heart communion, not the communion through the mind, through the intellect, but through the heart. So after some time, many years after, Stanley met Osho. He asked him the same question. So Stanley has forgotten his communion with Raman. So he did not remember that. Osho said, I have to respond to you in the same way and you have not changed. He said, he asked him the same question, have you attained? When Buddha was asked, are you enlightened now? It is very difficult. If you do not know the meaning of enlightenment, you say, yes, I am enlightened, I became enlightened on that day. Otherwise you will hesitate. You cannot answer. When were you not enlightened? There is a stage show going on. On the stage, there is a curtain in front, and the audience is in a huge presence. The actors are preparing for the stage show. So what it is happening, it is there behind the curtain. Only thing is this, between you, the audience, and the actors, there is a curtain, blindness. Curtain blinds your vision. So the curtain is removed, everything that is going on behind the screen, behind the stage, behind the curtain becomes visible to you. So you have a curtain of ignorance around you. The moment curtain of ignorance is removed, the light comes on. When was the light in the bulb not there? It had already all the connections. The moment you switch on the plug, the switch, the bulb light comes on. So is this switching on the light is called enlightenment? It is already there. It is removing the curtain. And Buddha said, what he said was most beautiful. He said, with me the entire existence become enlightened. You come to the room, you want to read something on the Facebook or something else, you switch on the light. Your purpose is to read what is the new post by taoshobuddha or anybody else, or what is the new news. That is the only purpose for which you have switched on the light. But does the light only remains on the screen, or it illumines everything that is in the room? So Buddha said, with me everything got illumined. The moment you get a vision, everything, your whole approach towards life begins to change. Your whole understanding begins to change. You start looking at the world around you in a different way, different manner. Compassion is born out of you. Compassion is born out of you. This week, for almost more than 12 hours, there was no electricity in the country. So no electricity. So next morning, my worker came later than he usually comes. And as soon as he came in, he asked me the first question, do you have water by you? I said, yes, I have the water, because we have the tanks. So as soon as the current comes in, the pump starts pumping the water. But when the electricity was cut off, the water supply was not being regular in the country. And since the current came back late in the night, so the workers who were supposed to switch on the water was not there. So that's why in your tap there was no water. So I realized that there is no water. What he will do? As soon as the current came, the pump went on, the water started flowing in the taps. So it was easy for me to have everything, shower and prepare the breakfast and everything, and he wasn't able to do. That is not my concern, he is a worker. But what does compassion means? So I asked him, did you bring lunch? He said no, there was no water. And the water was coming very dirty. So I said, you had any breakfast? He said no. Then what should be my attitude? So I gave him the money. I said, go and buy the breakfast and keep this remaining money as part of my contribution to buy the lunch. So when you reach to that point, this is just an example how an awakened one works in a day-to-day life. When the seekers would come traveling to the master, I have observed they will ask, everything is okay? Go and get yourself freshen up, have the meals, take rest and then come back. Because during that time, and also those people, they were not traveling in the planes. Even if you are traveling in a plane in comfort and so, but the journey is strenuous. 3 hours before you have to reach the airport, and then if you are living far away, then you will take a longer time in traffic and reaching, and then when you reach the destination to come out of the plane, so at least 4 hours before and a couple hours after immigration, customs and everything, it takes time. So the journey was comfortable with meals, this and that and so, but overall it becomes strenuous. And the train journeys, and if you are traveling in a passenger train, it is even more cumbersome. So the master will first, out of compassion, will ask them to go and take meals, take a rest and all that, and then we will talk about anything. So it is important. Tantra says sex is the deepest bondage. If something is bondage, then you can use that as a vehicle. You use vehicle to go from one destination to another. Without the vehicle you cannot reach. You cannot reach to the work, whether you are using a hired vehicle or your private vehicle. You cannot reach from one place to another without the flight or train or sea or by the ship. So your human body is a vehicle. Sex, Tantra uses sex as a vehicle, but we have taboos about it. This and that and so. It is energy. And when it is energy, what is the difference between electrical energy, the gas energy? Some places in England, the heaters are turned on with gas. Some places it is turned on with the fire you have to light. Other places through electricity. But if it is energy and it is yours, only you are allowed to use it, or anyone else, any other member of the family can use it. But this requires a great understanding. Tantra says sex is a vehicle, it is energy, it can be used as a vehicle. And when it is used as a vehicle, it can take you from one position to another. You are at one position A, you are going from A to B. A is your home, B is your work. A to B. And it can give you transcendental state. But as we are using sex, it is difficult for us. Because we are using it in a very wrong way, and the wrong way is not the natural way. Even animals are better than us. They are using it in a natural way. Our ways is perverted. Our ways are perverted. Constant hammering on the human mind that sex is sin, has created a deepest barrier within you. Christianity has created this deepest barrier in human mind about sin. It is said we are all born in sin. Christians say we are all born in sin, and Jesus is the only Savior. So I have heard a Christian missionary was coming to, as they move from door to door giving their messages of Jesus, sharing the books. So he happened to reach by a person of Indian origin. He said, you know, Jesus is the Savior. You know, we are all born in sin. So this person said, you may be born in sin. Jesus was born in sin because his mother and father were not married. I was not born in sin because my father and mother were married when I was born. What does it mean you are born in sin? And once you create this inside the human mind, it goes deeper into unconscious, and then you will not be able to, if anything goes into your mind, you will not be able to walk that freely. Constant hammering on the human mind that sex is sin has created the deepest barrier in human mind. You never allow yourself a total let go. Something is always standing aloof, by itself condemning, even for the newer generation. Newer generations, they are more open, but yet still this conditioning remains in them. They may say they are not burdened, obsessed, that sex used to be a taboo in the older times, but not for us. But you cannot unburden your unconscious so easily. It has been built over these centuries, for 2000 years or even more. It has been conditioned in the human mind that we are born in sin. Whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim, this conditioning remains in everyone. So while you may not be condemning it as a sin as happens in the newer generation, the unconsciously that is there deep within you, and this constant condemning goes on within you. You are never totally into it. Something is always left out. This should not be done, that should not be done. That left out part creates a split in you. A split in everyone. Vatsayan has wrote a treatise on sex. He has mentioned the significance of each aspect, but we are going with our own conditionings. Two people, husband and wife, or two friends, sitting together on the same couch, next to one another, arguing, and one says, "Do not touch me. I don't want you to touch me." But they are unconscious. They are sitting on the couch. Couch is one that is touching both of them. The rest of the couch is touching both of them. Their feet is on the ground. Feet is touching. the feet and the mind are connected. The same blood vessels move, the same blood goes to the feet and goes to the brain. And then we consider this part of the body is good, that one is not good. Genitals are dirty and mouth is very sacred. The way we speak. So we have created all sort of splits in us. Your body is one organic existence. The same blood flows through each part of the body, whether it is eyes, ears, nose, mouth, chest, lower extremities, big toe. Is not a different kind of blood goes in the big toe and in the eyes. Same blood structure, yet still we have created a split that this is this, this is that. Tantra says move in it totally. Just forget yourself, forget your civilization, your religion, your culture, your ideologies, your conditionings. Forget everything, just move in the sex act. Move into it totally. Do not leave anything out. Be absolutely non-thinking, non-split. Only then, when you are not split, you are not thinking, then awareness happens to you. Awareness is beyond thinking, beyond the known. We live in the known world, but the truth lies in the realm which is beyond the known. That which you cannot know. That is why it is said God is unknown and unknowable. He is not known. And Stanley Jones asked Raman, have you attained? And have you got? He said, yes, I got. I became enlightened the moment I got Jesus. The moment I knew about Jesus. Knew about Jesus. You can know anything about it, but that is not awareness. That is information that you have gathered. Only the awareness dawns. It is in that moment when you are not the mind, you are not a split, awareness dawns at you. Truth reveals itself to you, and in that moment the scriptures, the Upanishads, the Vedas have happened. According to Sufis, there are 7 valleys, and it is in the last valley the different kind of visions keep on coming. And each state, each body has its own imagination, visions, etc. When the awareness dawns, only then feeling of oneness comes, and in that feeling of oneness, one can be attached from the partner. You are thinking that you are doing something for your partner, and your partner is thinking she is doing something for you. And in this feeling of oneness, that we are part of one reality. We are not aliens nor as strangers join. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. We are sitting separate from one another, but we are sitting on the couch that is touching both of us. The ground we have our feet on that is touching both of us. The air that I am breathing is that which has been exhaled by you. The same atmosphere is within the room. We are breathing the same atmosphere. Whatever you breathe out, whatever I breathe out, that remains in the atmosphere, gets filtered and reaches your nostrils. So this feeling of oneness comes with awareness. Then you are detached from the partner, and it can be used with the whole universe. You are in communion with the whole universe. You are not making love to your partner, to your lover or beloved, but to the entire universe. You can be in a sex act with a tree because you have understanding that sex act is to be performed in a particular way. You are doing your painting. You can do it with that feeling of oneness. In a particular place in Himachal Pradesh in India, there is a place called Chamba. They create certain embroidery. It is a handkerchief made and then it is framed. Whatever is embroidered on the one side, the stitches go in the way that the same image shows on the other side. So this is an example of oneness with the entire existence. Sex means existence, communion with the entire existence. We are not aliens nor as strangers join. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. Man is not independent, he is interdependent. I may be far away from you. I can speak whether you are there or not, but you cannot listen unless I speak. So we are dependent on one another. This question was asked by a master. In spite of your sickness or illness or discomfort, you go on speaking. He said, existence has given me enormous gift. And when something you receive as a gift, it becomes an obligation on you to share. And this sharing is a joy. If something was made available to me or an understanding has come to me, I go on sharing. People say close to me that nobody reads your posts. I said it does not matter to me whether anyone reads it or not. It is an obligation on me. If existence has bestowed me with some gifts, I must share it. Maybe somebody is not reading it now. Maybe next generation will read it or someone else will read it. I am not doing anything because you are listening to me. I am doing it as an obligation to the existence that I am sharing my understanding, my presence with whosoever is ready for it will benefit. And then that is why we worship the dead people. when the master is not alive, we hang his picture and lament, I wish I was there. It happened, Osho mentions an example. He was a student in the college, and the college was near from where the place of Raman, the Arunachal, was close by. It was the anniversary of something there, the celebration. So the principal was lamenting that I wish I was during the time of Buddha, I would have gotten benefited, and so Osho told principal, don't lie. Buddha may not be alive, but the awakening is alive. There is, not too far from here is Arunachal, where Raman lives. Raman is a Buddha. Instead of lamenting, you must go to him. Existence is never free of the masters. The moment it is free of the masters, that means there is no God, there is no godliness, there is no existence. It is that awakening that sustains, that holds everything together. It is the force that binds everything together. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. That causeless force is God. That causeless force is awakening. That causeless force is enlightening. So you can be in sex, as if I have to use the word, with a tree, with the moon, with your own painting, with your own writing, with your own work. You can do that with that kind of rapt attention, rapt involvement with anything, once you know how to create. And what does sex means? Creating a circle. What does light means? Creating a circle. In a bulb there are two terminals, the positive and the negative. The positive current comes from the outside, the electricity grid, the power generation, and the negative comes from the body itself. Between the two there is a filament that the current flows from one to the other. The circle is complete. The sex is the act of completing that circle of energy between the two poles, male and female. Just as the magnetic field is the circle that flows, circle in which the energy flows from North Pole to the South Pole. When it North Pole to South Pole, and South Pole completes its to the North Pole, and this circle is completed. It may be elliptical, but does not mean it's a circle. Circle means a completion of the round. The stars move in an elliptical frame. So it is completion of this circle. Looking at the moon, the energy from you are reaching to the moon. From moon to reaching back to you, a circle is completed, and you are rejoiced in that. Seeing the moon in the moonlight and its reflection falling on the river, shimmering, it creates ecstasy, a joy. That ecstasy is an outcome of the balance, the circle completed. This is nothing else but sex, if the word has to be used. A completion of flow of energy between the two, and completion of the circle is sex act. And this is what the total emphasis is of Vatsayan. The seed, you can create the circle within you as well. You are half ovum, half sperm. Your body came into existence with the merger of ovum and sperm. A circle is completed. You are embodiment of Shiva and Shakti, anima and animus, male and female, the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. Awakening happens when the flow of the energy, the circle completes between the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. And the science says the body, the left side of the body is connected to the right side of the brain, and the vice versa. So when the energy begins to flow between the two hemispheres of the brain through the body, then circle is completed. You are enjoying the auto sex. Not what you mean by it. You can create the circle within you, and unless you have completed the circle within you, the outside woman or outside the man cannot satisfy you. In both men and women, you are both because you are created by the two. You were created by ovum and sperm, so you remain half and half. This is what Tantra says. That is why Tantra says sex is the deepest bondage. It can be used as a vehicle for the highest freedom, for the ultimate freedom. The correct word would be the ultimate freedom, not the highest. Tantra says poison can be used as a medicine as it is used. In homeopathic, there are many medicines, and even in allopathic, there are medicines that are extracted from poison. For urinary infection or problems, we use Cantharellus vesifora. Vesifora is an insect, and the poison of that is used in Cantharellus vesifora. Sex is the deepest bondage, yet it can be used as a vehicle for ultimate freedom, ultimate transformation, just as poison is used as a medicine. So do not condemn anything, use it, and do not be against anything. Find out ways and means that it can be used and transform. Tantra is deep acceptance of life. It is the only approach of its kind. All other approaches in the world, in all the centuries, have gone by. Tantra is unique. It does not say through anything. Do not be against anything. Do not create any conflict, because with conflict you are creating the seeds, sowing the seeds of destruction in you. Only this much for this morning. For the continuation, you can join tomorrow the same time. It is Trinidad, 6 o'clock, between 6 and 7. Eastern time between 5 and 6, although Trinidad time is Eastern time, but during the winter in America the clocks are set 1 hour behind. So it is between 5 and 6. In India it is between 3:30 and 4:30 in the afternoon. In Europe it is 6 hours ahead, that is midday. 12 to 1, and the other places where you are from, you can check the time. Until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.